The time is now 19:03, so I think we'll start. Very welcome, all of you, and especially welcome to Anton, who in his generosity has agreed to lead this seminar. And I say lead because this is a seminar between coaches, mainly, and as much as possible, we will do the seminar as a dialogue or discussion, more than Anton just presenting. If we stop, I suppose Anton will raise a question, and then we'll have the discussion going. Even if we are 23 persons in the meeting now, I think it would be useful to make a very short presentation, everybody with their name, and especially are they here in this seminar as a coach or as a sailor or as just a ILCA fan. So if you are all ready, I will call your name or your login, and you will answer very quickly, name and your status in this meeting, coach, sailor, or fan of the ILCA. Is that okay, Anton? Can we do it this way, Anton?
That's perfect, yeah.
Good. So we'll start on top of the list, alphabetic. So there we have Anders Wilhelmsen.
Hi, coach for Tønsberg, ILCA.
ILCA coach, Tønsberg Seilforening. Arne Berntsen.
Hi, coach for beginners in Zoom, ILCA.
Oh, wow, good. August Austfjord.
Hi, ILCA coach and enthusiastic sailor from Grimstad.
Good. Bård.
Great.
Yes, earlier laser sailor, now coach for beginners in Brevik.
Very good, Bård. Dejan. Dejan. Okay, if Dejan is not there, we'll go to Erik. That is not Erik Bøhn, but I have one just with Erik.
Yeah, hi, coach, Ålesund Seilforening.
Coach Ålesund, very good. And then we stay in Ålesund, Erik Bøhn.
Optimist coach and ILCA sailor.
Good. And then someone behind the letter F.
Yeah, hi, Fredrik Hessen, also from Ålesund, and I'm from time to time coach also in Ålesund.
Good. Mats Fernström.
Responsible coach in row from Helsingborg, Sweden, for optimist and lasers. Okay,
Very
also.
good. Very good, Mats.
Thank you.
Thank you. Frank.
Hello, Anton Jens Ludvig. I'm a coach from NTG and also board member of the ILCA Norway team.
And even chairman of the trainers organization. Helena.
Lasse Master, sailor, KNS.
Good, Helena. Helge S. Helge S.
Here he comes. He's mute.
Your microphone, Helge.
Oh, here we are. So, perfect. I'm master sailor in Ran and in Farsund Seilforening.
Good. Welcome. Og så er det Henrik Stamnes, Grønlund.
Well, at the moment, I think I'm just an enthusiast, but we'll see if that changes.
We hope so too, Henrik. Idalin. Idalin. Laser sailor and trainer to coach. And Jon Øyvind.
Hi, ILCA coach, or both ILCA and Optimist in Ran.
Excellent, thank you. So we're now 35 persons, and I think that's very good. I'm very happy for that. That's promising for Norwegian, for the continuous success of the Norwegian ILCA sailing. And I'm happy that so many of you coaches are participating. Some ground rules before I let Anton reintroduce himself, although we all know who he is. Whenever you want to say or something or question, raise your hand. You got that on top of your screen. In English, reactions. In Norwegian, I don't know. But you have a small face and a hand. Push that button when you want to say something, and I will let you in as soon as possible. And this is really a seminar. So we anticipate everybody to actively take part. One special thing is that it will be very much better if you put your camera on whenever you want to say or ask or comment on anything. So remember, raise your hand and put your camera on. And I see you and I will let you in. So then, Anton, the scene is yours.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back here again. We did ILCA several years ago, if I am not wrong. And that moment was more on the technical part, so I had a presentation on that. But the theme that we are discussing today, I believe, is so wide open that we can all learn from each other more than me giving the inputs. Because I've been thinking a lot, how can I make a sailor faster? And the only thing that comes to my mind is I need to be thinking 24 hours a day to make the sailors faster. So for me, make a sailor faster doesn't mean that he has a little bit better speed. It's that at the end of a race or at the end of the season, he really performed and we had him on his best moment all the time. So yeah, it's a difficult, open, subject to me. So I would like to give my opinion on how can I structure, or how do I structure to get my sailors faster. And then I would like just to hear from you and have your opinions, comments, and start a discussion if needed. Yeah. So once I that, well, I believe that I don't know. You introduced me already, Jens, but I am Anton Garrote. I'm coaching Herman at this moment. For the last 7 years already, and I was also with Christian, with Henrik, with Matthias Molat. So I had a group of sailors. Now I am also here in Cadiz. We are training in Cadiz, and we are here with an international group, and also some of the development Norwegian ILCA 7s are here with us training. So yeah, we are actively still to be faster, and it's something that we believe we are getting there, but we are never getting as fast as we want to be. And I think that this desire is the most important fast. So to develop a sailor as fast as possible, I think we need to have the desire to be faster, and this is a never-ending story. It's always some detail that can be better. It's something that we can improve, and we are always and every day thinking on how to be faster on the track, and that sometimes means the speed, sometimes means being clever, sometimes means being more confident, sometimes means being a total all-in global. Depends on the wind strength, wind situations, where we are in the moment. And so to me, to make the faster start on thinking on the big picture, which are our goals. And we, in our case, we divide the goals in 4 years because it's an Olympic cycle. And then we have a sub goals on this year by year. And then we know when the main goal will be on the season and which are the conditions there. And then we plan the trainings to get as best as possible there. And we need to plan it with some training, some competitions, and trying to merge all at the best moment, which is in our goal. Yeah. I don't want to enter too much in there. I will be happy to share all my experience and knowledge, but I think this is a bit more in the programming thing. I want to start with that because I believe that without a clear idea of what we will, clear road or path that we want to follow, we will never end successfully having our sailors faster on the right moment. How do I plan this? It's we have the program. We have to merge the program on the water with the program on the physical part. We have to merge it with all the rest of needs of the athletes, which is they need to have their own life. They need to study. I am a big fan of that the sailors or the athletes needs to have their own career apart from the sailing career, because I believe that this will make them even better sailors when they are able to structure their heads to be as efficient on the water and as efficient on the studies, and we are able to combine these two things. So I'm asking, pushing my sailors to continue and creating another future on their sides. Yeah. So yeah. As a big picture, I will say that this helps a lot to make them faster, because then we can narrow down on what is really needed. And first thing is a program, and the program that we want for the year. It's difficult to plan a 4 years program because we don't know the dates of the events in the next 3 years. So we have a desire of this 4-year cycle, and then we need to plan year by year. So once we have the program, we know the peak events, we know how we're going to do all the logistics. We did work a lot on all this. We can get a little bit more insight, and it's what do I need to make my sailor better? And we are in the ILCA. It's a sport, but without a team, we cannot improve, and we cannot be faster. So one of the keys of our success is to work with an international group, and there is a big word for us, and it's I think it's the center of all, and it's the sharing. Sharing is key to become better, and sharing will make us faster. And the sharing between the coaches and between the sailors, it's what it make us improve the most, and especially faster. So just for the ones that they don't know how we work, we are with Herman. We work together with the Finnish sailor Karle Tapper, and this is the core group, the 3 of us. Then we do train with the German team and with the French team now for this cycle. We did train on the last cycle with the Germans and the Swedish. So we always have an international group around of top sailors or a similar qualities and level as our sailors to improve. And this is, I think, this S of sharing is S of success, and is an S of speed at the end of the day on the water. I would like to remark this one because I think that this is something that sometimes we want to be a bit more individual because it's our goal, because it's we want to win, yeah. And really, the movement, or what it makes us improve the most, is this sharing with the others. We are not afraid. Mm-hmm.
Anton, just a small point.
Go ahead.
You know, you talking on international level. If you're a club coach, I suppose the same applies. Share, train sometimes with people from another club, take them in, make trainings together, and share.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this. To the point that during the Olympic Games, we were sharing our experiences with our international groups inside the venue, between the races. We were measuring currents, the others were measuring the wind, and we just share all the information. And once, if I put it on the club level, I think it's even more important, the sharing, and to have this value inside our team, where all our opticians, what they have, ILCA and the club, that they can learn from each other, and the curve of improvement is proof that is faster. Yeah, it goes to all the levels. And also I can match the international group with different clubs, yeah, and training before the events, or doing some trainings together, where all the coaches are able to do a brief to all the sailors, and all these sailors will improve from that. I'm sure about it. And we have also the possibility from Norway, if you don't want to go all the way to Lanzarote or wherever, Villamora or wherever, the Danish guys in Aarhus would love us to come, or they would even come to us, but they would love to strengthen the cooperation we've had so far. So there is always a possibility of going just down across the Skagerrak to Aarhus, and have experience with training together with the Danish teams. We are also cooperating on the development level with. Here we are we'll be with the French and with the Germans, but also we had a nice cooperation with the Danish, and thanks to Jens Ludwig, and also the Swedes are asking us to train with us. So yeah, the Finnish and the Norwegians are also cooperating in all levels now. So yeah, I believe that this is the way to go. But I think this is quite open, general. But I wanted to start with that, because more we hear, more we discuss, more we learn. At least that's my philosophy. And, anything. This moment we are working with different devices, and we are entering with Eric and to a more tech level, and we are sharing this information with the French and with the Germans, and they are sharing their information with us. Yeah? So I mean, we're going very deep on the sharing, not only some talks and videos, also all the data we have from the trainings on the water to the physical trainings, and these discussions are making the sailors faster. But this is not only. I think I said that it's a 24 hours thinking for me on how to make them faster. We can, if we start from the light wind to the strongest breeze, from the upwind, to the ridge, to the downwind, to the stars, I think it's a never-ending story. Yeah. What I would like to make a big picture is also that the food, and having this as a key, all the nutrition, the physical part, the technical part on the boat, and is this we need also to add it to make the sailor fast. I think it's a big step forward from what I did as I was when I was a sailor, where the speed was only in the speed lane apps, and they were thinking who is faster, but we never took these steps back. I think now on this at this moment, everybody's thinking on this as important, yeah, or as a key factor again to get the boat faster on the water. Yeah. So yeah, don't forget that these are also points that we are working a lot, and I have to say that we do a lot of work, and at the point that if we want to be fast on the water, we plan the physical session after the sailing session. If we think that to have the sailors at the 100% is not so important, then we do the sailing session in the afternoon, and we want them tired, and having them tired means that they will not be as fast as we want them, but they need to be as fast as possible when they are tired. So we also balance all the things around the sailing to have them or as fresh and fast as possible, or tired to try to get them fast when they are tired, which are two completely different points. So I need also to know how my sailors are to see if I can push them to the extra, or I need to be a bit more patient and decide, okay, today is a day where we're not looking for the speed, we're looking for the volume, or we are looking for I need to push just half of the training to get to this level. Or they're fresh, and today is a day to push really, really hard because the speed is what matters, and we focus only on this. So we are also planning the days on the trainings with the idea to have them as fresh as possible during the big event. Yeah. And then means that they will be able to be as fast as possible. And all this on the big picture, it's sent to one big word, which is confidence. Without confidence, we don't have a speed. And I think that the confidence is something that we coaches, we can give to our athletes, thanks to the program that we are planning, thanks to the discussions that we are having, thanks to the positive knowledge bringing to them, controlling the emotions, especially in the big event. If we have the confidence and we are able to, and we know our sailor, and we are able to help to control his emotions or her emotions, that will make as a result that he will be faster. Yeah. I believe that there are no questions on that. Yeah. Then one more thing is that we need to know the class. Yeah. To be fast, of course. So the knowledge that we will get on the class that we are sailing, I think, is key. And to me, to getting the knowledge on the ILCA, there are two important points. One is to know the boat that we are and how to trim the boat to be fast. Yeah. And another one, as important this moment, to take out all the rubbish that is around the new builders and all the talks. So we coaches need to also have a clear path on where we are going with the knowledge that we have from the boat, and we need to really understand what are the inputs from outside that are important for us, or they are just, I call it rubbish. Because now, for example, and I want to be clear, at this moment here in Cadiz, we are with these 5 top sailors. We did measure 12 boats from different brands. I did that for the last 4 years already. And the differences are like, no, I like this boat, or I like the other one. So at this moment, how we are now, yes, there are sailors that like better to sail with the body, sailors that they like better to sail with element 6, sailors that they like to sail with Nautivelas. Yeah. So I believe that what we need to find is a good boat that we are happy with, and we'll go from that. And the details on the mass rake, weight, volumes, these are details that are not so important even for us. It's good to know. We want to be on top. We want to understand what is happening. We want to see how the class is developing. We are waiting. We're doing lambolate tests. We do mass rake. We measure the mass. We do a lot of testing around. But at the end, here we've been now 12 days on the water. Every 4 days, our sailors have been changing the boats, between them. And the conclusion is I'm more comfortable with one or more comfortable with the other one. But it's my good day or my bad day at this level what it brings me forward. So it's they've been winning or losing with any of the different brands and boats. Yeah, it's maybe it's a sensitive topic, this one, but my experience, my idea is let's first be ready to hike. Let's understand how to hike. Let's understand what to do with the main sheet and the controls when going upwind. Let's understand how to steer the boat. Let's understand what we need to do on the downwind. Yeah? Let's understand how to race. Let's understand how to round the marks, how to be in a mess, how to lead an extender. Let's understand the forecast. And my last point is which boat are you using? For us, will be important the boat, because at the end of the games we'll have one brand, and for sure we'll go all to train before with this brand, because it's the details, last minute details or last moment details will be important. But it's the last of our priorities, and we use 3 days to measure all the boats, yeah, just to know what are we working with. Yeah. But not Philip Bull, not Carla Dapper, not GB or Herman. They really, they want to try as many as possible and see which one they like, with the concept that I need to be fast with the worst boat. That's the concept, because in the Worlds and Games they will give us a boat, and we need to understand how to make this boat fast. Doesn't matter our feeling, doesn't matter mass rate, doesn't matter whatever we measure there. It's okay. We know that this boat, to sail this boat, I need to sail it like this, or like that. In other classes, I was coaching Europe for many years. I will my thinking, my philosophy will be completely opposite. Let's go for the mast, let's go for the sail. We were developing center boards and rudders just to see rudder blades, whatever, to make the boat fast, as fast as possible. On the laser, my philosophy, my concept is completely the opposite. The sailor is the one that makes the boat fast, and to make it fast, we need to give him as much confidence as possible before the events that the work done has been the best possible work.
Anton,
yeah.
You started by saying that you work on 4-year cycles, and the perspective is 4 years at least. And then you also say that it's important that speed is in your head, or speed is in your confidence. When you, as a coach, follow, you also work with people on lower levels than Herman and Karle, and of course, and maybe even with Herman, you follow them through a session on the water, and you see at least 8 points where they could improve technically.
Yeah, well, then I would start.
My question is then, how long is your patience? Can you let them do things a bit lower than your standards, and pick one or two objects, or will you report everything back to them?
Yeah, I will start because I didn't say before that, yes, I did work since I am 15 years old, I'm working as a coach, as a club level for many, many years, and then regional level in Spain, and then national level in different countries. Yeah, so I've been from the optimists to the 420s or lasers, coaching kids, and it was super interesting. I really, really like it. Yeah. The approach that I have is different because usually on the club you have a big group. Here I'm having 2 sailors for me, and then the detail that I can follow on them is more narrow. I can focus much more. When you have a bigger group, you need to use the time that you have and try to spend it for all of them. So I understand that the difficulties on the clubs to make the boat faster is they're higher or more than the ones that we have, because we focus on just 2 sailors, make them fast, and it's not. I don't have enough time working 180 days a year, and I don't have enough time to go for all the details. So answering your question, Jens, I don't go more than 3 points per day. I have the theory that we cannot learn more than 3 things per day. And I have some colleagues and they say 1.
Yeah.
1, and that's it. And the key of learning on the water is by repetition.
But this has changed through the last, say, 15 years, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I frequently observed top sailors with their coaches after a championship race day, putting down every bit of thing they did sub-optimizing or not or didn't succeed in doing. And of course, that is definitely a way to make the confidence low.
Yeah, I do reflect more the positive points than the negative points. I try to make the negative as a constructive points to improve. So we are in a process that we want to be better. We are in a process that we want to get faster, and this is the negative parts. We will see that it's not a steering well, that is not hiking well, that is not trimming well, that is not looking out properly. I would like to transform it in you can do it better. You can look at this. It's the way you have to do it is this way. So try to give as many positive inputs as possible. Sometimes, I found that very few moments where I need to be strict and hard at this level where we are saying, no, you're not doing that. You are testing this now. But this is when we want to change things, especially at this level where we have all these athletes that they have interiorized a lot of routines, to change them and for them to make the effort to change them is very, very difficult, because it's something that you've been doing forever, and now suddenly you want to steer different on a wave. So we have a sailor that on the light wind with the wave from the front, he likes to put always the pressure, but steering to windward and putting the bow down, and this up to 10-12 knots when we are fully hiking is really, really good. When it's light wind, it's not. So we've been working for 2 years and didn't succeed yet to make him the fastest one on this. And but from 2 boat lengths behind, he's close to the others. So it's the improvement and it's the positive part of this work where I try to reflect on there, because it's really, really hard to change habits at our level. And on the club level, I think it's important just to say, okay, yes, he or she is going fast. This is the way that is steering. This is the way that is hiking. Let's try to copy and to reproduce as much as possible. Because it's true, and that at Olympic level, I try to adapt my philosophy, my way of thinking to my sailors, and I try to discuss a lot with them. When I am with younger sailors, to make a group faster, they need to follow much more my instructions. So as a big group and younger one that they are learning, I believe a lot on we give the instruction, the big instruction, and then inside here we can play with them, with their body weight, with their skills, with their, maybe they like better the breeze or the light wind, then we need to be more precise on the light wind if they like the breeze, or we need to be more focused on the physical and nutrition because they are lighter and they want to improve on the breeze. But at the club or more a national level, youth level, I like to give the instructions and that they follow my path. At this level that we are now is all about discussions, and it's all about details, and it's all about how do you want to sail the boat, you know? And then it's also sometimes even a philosophical discussion. No, I want to have it flatter because this, and that. But then if you want to have it flatter, we need to sail with this, and you need to move the rudder like that. As soon as I have more than 3 boats with me, and especially with a lower level, yeah, I think we have all the knowledge and we know how to make the boat fast in general. So it's easier and better on the learning curve if our sailors follow our idea, our philosophy, and then inside of this we play on this field of play. If not, it can be a big chaos if we just let 10 kids or 15 kids to lead what they want. So yeah. And for this, one important point for me is also the communication. What I do transmit to my sailors, how do I transmit that to my sailors? When I need to have more nice, soft, calm voice, where I need to be more strict, when I can be flexible on the water. And this also, at the end, it gives confidence on how they are doing the work. And again, to me, the confidence makes us faster. Yeah. So yeah, this is one big picture of how to make the boat faster to me. We didn't get into any detail on the ILCA yet, but to me that's the base, that without this base we will not get any sailor faster, you know. I don't know if there is any question or any comment. I hope that Frank Kikelan, he agrees with me, yeah, because he knows.
Yeah, Frank, come in.
Hello, Otto. It's really interesting to hear you discuss with yourself and even go back to the Europe class with Lucia Reyes, the 2 sisters.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking is if you can put together one perfect sailor between 3 points, it's the technical level, the physical level, and the psychological level. How much into different parts would you put? Technical, physical, and psychological.
Well, the technical on the ILCA 7, yeah, I think it's important to be aware that with the new mast and new sail, we are increasing the weight and the length. So our sailors are around 85 kilos, and they can be 88 and be fast in the light wind. I didn't see on the last years a sailor under 81 kilo succeeding. Very, very hard. When in the beginning or before this top section and the new sail, 79 kilos, 81 can be a perfect weight. Based on that, and I think that this is a physical technical part. Without this on the breeze, it's really, really difficult. And now we are with 87 kilos, we're defending, people is defending on the really light wind as well. So you can be fast technically, and yeah, weight is a speed. If you are able to produce this speed, yeah. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on the sailor, yeah. But we're going high on the weight, and most of the Olympic classes are going high on the weight. So it's for the light wind sailors, it's getting tough to get into in general the Olympic. For the ILCA 6 with the girls, they are in 72 kilos. And Line, you believe all you know Line, and Line is 180 something, Jens, if I'm not wrong. Exactly. And she is not the tallest, and they are a good bunch of ILCA 6 sailors at this level that they are like Line. We had the Finnish girl that she's Monica, that it's very difficult for her to get the 7 on the scale, and she struggles a lot as soon as there's a little breeze because she's a little bit shorter. So yeah, I think first we need to, if we want to be at the Olympic level, unfortunately the size is important, and then we can go for the technical details there. And technically, to me, a good ILCA 7 sailor is a sailor that can afford a lot of physical work. He is able to, while he's under a big load because it's really heavy on the breeze, really heavy on our 5-6 days events, and he's able or she is able to, under this very tired body, is able to continue working, and the body continue working and moving as active as needs to be, and is able to get the input from outside because he or she is looking out. So technically, some sailors are. I've been with really, really good sailors that technically they are impressive, but then as soon as they are tired, they are not able to reproduce or to continue with that, and then the curve goes really down. So yeah, and this is something like a speed test. Yeah, a speed test shows who is the fastest one on this speed test. But for me, to improve the speed on a speed test is maybe 15-20% I need to be faster as a sailor. So yes, we do a lot of speed tests. The sailors want us to create more speed tests. What we try to do is combine the speed test with a lot of racing. So, for example, these days here, it's the beginning of the season where we are getting back into the boat where we want to be as technically correct, and when the sailors wants to be fast, and the only thing that they want is to do a speed test. We do a speed test that ends in a free upwind. So we can merge both things. We start with a speed test, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, depends on the wind, depends on what we want, and ending with a top mark and a free upwind, especially when at the end of the training when they are tired. And then you see. And usually the sailors that are faster on the speed test are the ones that are losing on the races. And the ones that are not so fast on the speed runs are the ones that you put to look around here with what is needed shift-wise or on the water. So yeah, who is fast? No, the one that is fast on just getting half a boat length in a couple of minutes, or the one that is able to put all together and be first at the top mark. Yeah. So for us at this moment is this. Yeah, we try to be as fast as possible on this, but then after that, let's see how they react and they work on the field of play. Yeah? And mentally, I think the confidence together with all the work that we're doing, and I think the ones that are mentally stronger and they believe on themselves and they are self-confidence, we can say a lot of words like me. These are the ones that usually succeed. Yeah. if they're able to merge this me, and what I need with the team and with the sharing. And that's the beautiful experience that we are living for the last years here. It's a me, but without them, I cannot be better. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And the last follow-up question is, now you've been talking about Herman and the top level, Olympic level, and beyond all these points you've been speaking about, or even maybe other points, what is in your point of view, the most important task or focus for the next level Olympians, the ones we are coaching?
If I can answer you with experience that I had, because I've been during 2 years, I was the youth national, they call it coach, but I was is the one that organized all the youth classes in Spain. Yeah, and what I realized there is that the coach was the one making the sailors much better. I mean, what it was really important in there is that it was a club, yeah, and suddenly this club did improve a lot, and we had a lot of good results. And there was another club here and another club in Spain. We have a lot of and different. And as soon as the coach stopped, start to work or in different work or whatever, and this coach disappeared, this club, this group just fell. It melted completely. So my conclusion after these 2 years, yeah, is that we coaches are the one that makes this salty into the veins of our group. And if we are able to construct something with them and build something that it's just moving forward, and they are always coming with a smile and they want to come, then we will have good results. That was a big learning from this period for me, and it was like, wow, yeah, to create something in a club and seeing these kids that they come, they smile, and then they want more, and then they get faster, and then they have good results. And it was really based on the coaches. Then you have few people that is they have some X factor or talent or whatever you want to call it, and then they just move forward. Yeah, but I believe that this community inside the club, within the clubs, I think is key from my experience.
Wow, you put a lot of pressure to the all coaches.
I don't think it's a pressure. I think we do that for passion. Yeah. And if we do it for passion, I think it's beautiful to see that at the end, no?
Yeah.
And another thing that I think is really important, and I learned a lot from your society in Norway, is that at this level, other results, what it shows us that our sailors is better, or it's just how the community grows and how we all put effort and how we see that they have these values to move forward online, no? Because classes coach, but it's a ton that is a lot of 3 kids that they are sailing. And my interest is that they learn the values and they love what they're doing, and I don't look at the results so much, you know. But going back to this, into the competition, it was a clear example inside the Spanish Federation for 2 years. And then I've been following up a little bit that, and it's the coach that comes with passion and they want to pull the throttle and gets all the kids into the train or the boat, it goes. Yeah. And our sport, that's why I didn't want to have here a presentation about how the speed goes, because I believe that the speed on the water is a small factor compared to all that we can create around to make our sailors happier, and then they will go fast for sure.
Yeah, I think
so that's why the confidence.
Yeah, it also summarized the key points of the Norwegian model of coaching. Essential. The team is important, and the atmosphere inside the group, and everyone is unique. No one is perfect, so you have to always to try to look at the best of each one in the group.
Yeah, it's another experience that I like to share, and it's I started with Norwegians in January 2015 in Miami, and then our first training camp really was in Mallorca in end of February, and it was Matthias, it was Herman, it was Henrik, it was Christian this moment. And I sit down on the first brief after sailing, and I sit down, the TV, I'm here, myself, and they're in front of me. And on the second day, Matthias raised his hand and said, Anton, yeah, we have things to say as well, you know? Because why wouldn't enter the discussion and say, wow, great. So I move, I sit down with them, and since then, it's just an open discussion between all of us. When I was used more because of Spanish culture, and before being with the Norwegian, I've been with the Belgian culture is also the teacher, teach, and all the rest. We are just not saying anything because that's like a master class, you know. But just on the second day, it was like, oh yes, let's go for this, you know. Yeah, it's super good sailors, athletes that they have experienced. Christian Ruth with a couple of Olympic Games already. Wow, yeah. Let's grow all together. This, you know, that's yeah. I started like, here I am, let's go. This is this. We need to do this and that. No, wrong, wrong. So me as a coach, I like also to learn from them. I think we can learn a lot from, and this is the sharing for me as well. Being open to try new things that will give us better speed. And continually with that, the best way, or one of the, we work to improve the speed on the water, and to improve the speed on the water, what we have is we made mistakes and we go backwards. So it's as simple as that. Why we don't use this technique? Why we don't pull more kicker? Why we don't pull less kicker? Why? And to try to analyze this and say, well, this is not how I like it. This is not how we're going. Okay, let's try again. Okay, this is not working. On next one, you know. But we are learning every day on how to make the boat fast, and we are watching videos every day, and we have a lot of information from videos, from tracking, from now with the sail month, now with this more people inside. Yeah, and it's all about discussions with the sailors.
Thank you, Anton.
No, Frank, please. Yeah, but then I don't know if you have more questions, but going a little bit more in the water, to me is, I think communication is a key factor. And another one to make the boat go fast is having a good plan of the day. And explaining to the athletes what we're going to do, how we'll do it, and when we're going to stop, and how much time we have to talk in between exercises. If we have 5 hours on the water, then we can talk to all the optic coaches or the ILCA coaches that you have, and you have 10 boats, and how much time do they have for each of them? Yeah, and I think that this is super important, because if the wind is, or we have a plan 2 hours, 2 hours and a half on the water, and we have 10 sailors, and we use 10 minutes per sailor, is the time on the water is nearly gone. But if we don't give any information to the sailors, how they can improve, you know? So for me, a clear plan of what will be on the water, and discussing this with sailors before we go on the water. And then we know which are the goals that we want to achieve today, If it's just a speed, and we will be stopping. If it will be just the way to improve today, because it's very shifty, is just putting marks and doing racing and understanding the racing. How much time do I have to talk to them, or how much time can I do it afterwards on the debrief? You know, and then summarizing the points is super important, and especially at the club sailing, where you only have weekends, and most of the times 3 weekends a month and not the 4 of them, so the time is very limited. And then you have these kids that they forget half of the things that we say. So I is this as little as possible, but they gets as much into their veins and making them interacting with us. That's the way that I say it. Yeah. Cannot hear you. You're mute.
La meg minne om at det åpent med å komme med spørsmål. Ikke la dette bli en diskusjon mellom Frank Kirkeland, Anton og meg. Jeg vet at mange av dere har mange tanker med nå, så ikke nøl med å rekke opp hånden. I just promoted more questions, Anton, but you just continue and we'll see what's happening.
Now, I would like to go more in detail about how to make the boat fast in every conditions. Yeah, but it's very, very challenging and difficult to explain. You know, that's why I think that I would like more to hear questions and going from the questions opening the discussion more than me telling what to do everywhere. Yeah. But for that, we have a really good point that we discussed with other coaches today, and it's on the mental side of how to make the boat fast. And we coaches need to understand if we have a super activated sailor that day, or a sailor that is more precocious is the word, or is underactivated that day. So how we transmit this information to, because we can be pushing a sailor that is overactivated this day because it's super excited, and maybe what we need in this case is just say, okay, let's look out, yeah. And the opposite in some that comes with a little bit of fear because it's a big challenge that they we need to manage mentally to make him or make her fast this day and get all this fear out of the body. So yeah, the speed starts before we go on the water. I can continue for hours with all these things, but how I can ask questions to the coaches, no? Frank is up again.
Yeah,
I think.
Sorry about that. I have I feel every now and then there is a different coach with a different view of the tension of the hiking strap.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had this discussion with Jan Steven, and it of course it depends on the height of every sailor and how the sailor is configured with the muscles in the stomach and in the back and in the legs. But is there some key points of the tension of the hiking strap? I try to have my less experienced sailors to have as much tension as possible, because then they are more connected to the boat and they're not using so much of their energy to just tighten the strap. And if you are more experienced, you have more power, you can fit your hiking strap more to your body configuration.
Yep.
What's the
It's a really good point, and it's I think the most important one to create a speed on the boat. I think it's how you are connected to the boat. In this boat, compared to many other boats, how you build the speed is thanks to your body. It's all kinetics, it's all movements, it's all power that you create. That's why I'm saying that the boat, the mast, the sail, which one I have, is less important for us than how fit we are, how good we are on the boat. So once I that the speed is created by us, then how we transmit the speed to the boat, how our movements can move the boat forward. The upwind is just being attached to the boat. And the strap is from normally is the strap because you're hiking 70% of the time or 80% of the time. On the light wind, we use a lot the rails, and we talk a lot about how to put the feet, position the feet on the deck to have as stability and as connection as possible to the boat. So the connection to the boat is key. Yeah, light wind. I will suggest that we all try to get our sailors with the feet on the leeward side. Yeah, back feet, front feet, one, and then as soon as we are hiking, we can move one foot to the windward side. And I have some sailors that they are so tall that the feet doesn't fit inside the cockpit. So it's very difficult for them to be well positioned on the boat. Usually for the youngers it's easier, but I was as a concept, because we move the boat, be as attached as the boat as possible in all conditions, also in the light.
I think Josef also has a comment on this.
Yep.
Josef?
Yes. Hi everyone. Hi Anton. Thank you so much
Josef.
for interesting, very interesting intervention. We talked a little bit in Kiel, as you remember, about how to quantify and numbers on the boat. And I want you to talk to us a little bit as coaches how we can, because now science is about numbers and quantification. And we had a little discussion. What I tried to do in the previous years, now that we talked about the hiking strap, is to have this spring with it's like a scale that we put on the end of the hiking strap, and we checked how much your leverage produces or your muscles produce strength on the hiking strap. That's a way of quantifying. But you, as a coach that has all the tools and all the like the meteo station and all that, what can your advice be for us as coaches, and how can that affect our the quality of our coaching, I would say? Thank you.
Yeah. I will then continue a little bit with what Frank said, and I will end up with your question, Josef, because yes, the body is what moves the boat forward. We need to be as attached as possible to the boat, and as soon as we hike, I would like to have the hiking strap as tight as possible. But as tight as possible is not as tight as the strap can be. It's as tight as my sailor can hike at his maximum leverage. So for the shorter legs, we have to have it looser. For the really strong, like Theodore in your case, he can have it as tight as possible. And with Carle, which is close to 190 and really strong, he has a knot and he doesn't move the strap. With Herman, as another example, every 3 knots of difference, he's moving the strap. And now with the system that we have with the clit, I think it's very simple, that they will be adjusting. Yeah. And the adjusting is not to make it easier for my legs, is to make it the boat as fast as possible. But if I have it too tight, then what I cannot is to hike as much as if I am like this. So tight I am, my head will be more up. Yeah. And if I am long, it doesn't matter because I can then twist. But if I am short, then it's very difficult. So this is just to have as maximum leverage on this point. So just adjusting, we do everything, more or less everything knots, but adjusting it when it's needed. When we see that we cannot control the boat, that the boat controls us, then is when we need to release a little bit, you know. And what that means, the boat control us, is that they heels a lot, and it doesn't matter how much I hike, I cannot flatten down. I need to release sheet, and then do I want to release main sheet, or do I need this sail powerful? Can I flat it down because of flat water? I need power. Then if I need power, I start releasing the strap. If it's a flat water and I can flat the sail, I will not release the strap. You know, so it's a compromise between the power that the sail is doing here and how much can I do here. So we start with a medium sail and a tight strap. The wind is increasing. First thing that I do, if it's flat water, I flat the sail. First thing that I do, if it's a big swell or a chop that I need to pass, is to release a little bit the strap. And this is the compromise until it's a maximum flat sail and maximum loose strap. Yeah. And I hope this is expressed myself clear. If not, I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah. But going now, how can we quantify and measure this? Yeah. We had a lot of different techniques in the past. Yeah. None one show any good result in my views, because every sailor is a bit different and everyone is a bit more or less tension. What to me is more visual. My sailor is fully hiking and he cannot continue handling the boat, then I need to change something or on the sail or on the strap. Flatter water, I will flat the sail. Choppy, big waves, I will release a bit the strap. And onshore, now we are using some sensors to control the tension, especially in the kicker. And we've been thinking a lot to put a sensor that gives us all these inputs on the strap. But engineer as Herman and working with other engineers here is like a big no, because we don't know how much rope stretch. We don't know how much the strap will stretch every day. And the unique way to have a sensor that will indicate something good enough is to have a micro sensor on the bolt that is attached to the cockpit, because this is a fixed point and we are not getting there. So we are going a very visual thing and feeling with the sailors in this. If I had to go with 10, 15 sailors on the water, I will start doing some speed tests with as maximum tension on the strap as possible. And then they will need to release it. Not starting with the loose strap and going to the tight strap. I will start with the tight strap, and it's very uncomfortable the first days, because especially this part of the leg in here, this is very painful, very, very painful. So it's easier with a looser strap, but it's less effective with a looser strap. So yeah, I will suggest to start tightening them and allowing the sailors to release it when it's needed. Yeah. And if you see that there are conditions that it's important to play with the main sheet and the main sheet can get the balance on the boat, then we take it tighter. If what is important is to have a block to block and being able to hike more, it's important to release a little bit the strap. But it's a really good point, because the strap is what it gives us the speed on the upwind. The connection to the boat thanks to the strap, yeah, or thanks to the position on the cockpit in the very light wind. So Joseph, yes, we are working a lot with this sail mode. We are working a lot with sensors. We are working with the wind system. We are getting all this technology in different programs. We are watching videos from the drone and comparing the drone footage with our cameras from the RIP, putting all the trackings together and all this data. But we don't have any data for the strap. It's a feeling, it's a visual, it's something that you can see on the sailor when he does the move, if the boat moves forward or not, and then the sailor needs to come back to us saying, that's too hard for me, or not. Yeah, again.
Yes, just Anton, the data question was not only for the strap, but it was how we as coaches, we can use different sources of data, as you just mentioned, drones, or how can we use that in our favor? How can we use numbers in, nowadays with all the technology? How do you do it? Thank you.
We're making it quite complicated at this moment, I believe, because we have the opportunity to work with Olaf Bo, and you know him from the triathletes, and he's bringing us a lot of different technology on this for the 21st century. We are working with Salmon, which is a very, very good tool, but I think it's too much for club coaching. What I will suggest is just using a watch that can give us a GPX file and use tracking. If we can show to the sailors the track of the races that we're doing, the training races that we're doing, that's a massive improvement. And we're working with one called Rexy Gold that allowed us to put up to 10 boats, and it costs €10 a month. So it's very simple, and this is very visual, and this will help the sailors to get faster. That's, I think, if I'm going back to the club coaching, I will try to get a tracking as a tool to help my sailors to go. And if I can have the tracking and I can have my own videos, I think this is more than enough information for the club and youth development coaches to move forward. Yeah. I'm for example, these days I've been here with Theodore, with Christopher and with Uffe, and we don't use much more than the phone. And when we race, I want them to send me the GPX files, to see the trackings. That's it. So video analysis and tracking, I think, is the first steps to take. Then the images with the drone are magnific. There's a different view, but you need to. Matthias Smollett was here with us last week, and with his drone, and the footage is really nice. We've been working with the drone for the last 3 or 4 years from before the COVID, and I think give us a different view. But that's is a quite difficult one. Salmon in this case is the other one that we use, but with any of the watches that most of the kids they have, we can have a GPX file, put it in a tracking system, plus the video. I think these two are the really good and easy tools to have.
Thanks, Anton.
Yeah, because now enter another topic that I wanted. It was the tactics, and the tactics make and just on the sailing that if I am faster, I am a tactical genius. Yeah, on the laser, to be a tactical genius and to be faster, it's first it's a physical part, then how to transmit my power into the boat, and then with all these kinetics, I'm making my boat moving forward. I need to be very clever on the tactics, because it's a boat-to-boat situation 99% of the times, with a fleet of 60 boats, 40 to 60 boats. And how can I make my boat go fast in between these boats? How can I be clever when I am tired on all this big fleet? That's the key. And we work a lot trying to balance the physical part with the hours on the water to be as strong as possible on the day number 6 of the Worlds, which is the decisive day. So the speed is not the speed that we have on the series on the first days, it's the speed that we have on the last day. And I think of this for club coaching when I was there, and we had only 2 days of training, and suddenly the big event, the nationals are, at least for us, we were 4 days. That was a disaster. The 4th day was a disaster for most of the teams, because you are not used to these 4 days. So making the sailors fast when they are in the last sailing day, when they are tired, when they are there is a stress when they've been playing a lot with other kids and all this stuff, and it comes at the session moment. I think here is where we need to also train before and try to get a couple of possible long weekends and use them for the speed and to get them as tired as possible on the last day, and then racing on the last day. I think if we train for 3 days, and then the last day they know they want to race and they have whatever present for the first one or things like this, yeah, I think that will help a lot on the speed on the last important day of the big events that we have. Yeah. Well, no more questions. I'll continue then, yeah, because we are talking a little bit about all this kinetics, all this tactics, all this. I'm just putting the points on the table, yeah. But if I'm going to the upwind, as soon as I said that the most important for me is all this, how I transmit my movements into the boat, how well attached I am on the boat. But another super important 2 points is that are the tacks. We realize that what we win or we lose, where we lose, one of the most important parts were the tacks. When the tack is effective and the exit of the tack especially is fast, then you are winning meters. That's also really important to get the speed of the boat, to get well positioned, and then you have an easier move on the next one. Another one is I would like to practice a lot the accelerations, and the rabbit stars can be a good part of the accelerations, because that will give us this 20, 50, 70 centimeters extra after the start that will make us believe that we are fast. So this is super important. Positioning of the start, of course, but if we're talking about the speed, is how to accelerate with any of the winds. Which are my movements on the last 30 seconds to get the boat ready to accelerate on the last 10 or 5 seconds before the start, depends on the wind speed. All these movements are something that we rise up, and we try to get the sailors as focused as possible that the start starts at least 30 seconds before the start and ends up after the second tack. So a good start for us is from 30, 40 seconds before the start until the second tack, most usually. If it's a left corner, then you are not tacking. It's just a speed on the first minute, yeah, or first 2 minutes. But if we are in normal racing, it's just I'm starting, but if I can position and reposition myself, this is a good start. Yeah. Where I want to be after the second tack, is what it's really, really important speed-wise. Then you are in front and it's easy. Races are easier and then it looks like you are faster. But this starts with the work just before the start. And we can be inside how to start and how to make the start. We can stay here until next Sunday. But if as a key point, you just think on why my sailors are acting on the last 30 seconds and how they are exiting the first or the second tack on the fleet, this will make us much faster on the race course. And then the next one, which is another key factor, is that most of the speed on the upwind, so all the sailors, they get into the top mark with a range of, let's say the first 20, they go in a range of 10 boat lengths maximum, yeah, sometimes less. So the approach and the exit to the top mark is something that we discuss every single day. And why are you going to the right? Why are you going to the left? When are you thinking what's for the next step? Is a reaching down? If the downwind is going right, left, this will make us a genius on the downwind. And it's not the downwind, it's the last 30, 45, 1 minute before the top mark, thinking on what I'm going to do after, which is my position on the fleet, and how can I exit this top mark, being as forward as possible. And then I start the downwind. Yeah. So these 2 parts is something that we analyze a lot, we study a lot, and I try to make my sailors as fast as possible on these moments. Once we exit the top mark and we are on the downwind, the speed on the downwind is what makes the biggest difference, the bigger winds. Losses, we can say that at the start, the losses could be because of bad tactical, strategical, yeah. But the bigger wins on a race course are on the downwind. So every single training camp that we have, we use 1 or 2 days only on downwinds, because we practice a lot the downwinds every day. Yeah, it's always up and downs, but there are 1 or 2 days or 1 day every week, yeah, that we do just downwind technique. And if I'm going to the downwind technique, yeah, we have a lot of footage, a lot of videos, a lot of analyzing. From the 5 sailors that we have here, yeah. Philippe Bull, world champion in 2020. Jean-Baptiste, world champion in 2022. Third Europeans now, Herman, blah, blah, blah. All of them, there is no one of them that uses the same technique. Philippe is going crazy angles, from right to left, from right to left, from here to there, from doing a lot of movements, steering. Yeah. And Herman wants to go straight to the mark. And then GB and Kalle are between this. So what's the best technique? Yeah? My suggestion to improve the technique on the downwind is to make the sailors try 2 different leg position. One is sitting down like I'm now, yeah, just with sitting with the legs on the leeward side, and see if they like this. And when we have the legs on the other side of the strap, this means that it's very difficult to control the boat when we are turning, so we will be more like. Some sailors will really like and will really find this very, very easy. Some others will find it very difficult because they will not have the balance on the boat. More and more with this sail that we're having, and the new sail with the leech is much more controlled than before. The straight liners are faster than the turning. And we come from an experience history on the ILCA where the turns were super important. Yeah? And don't get me wrong, we need to turn, we need to catch a wave, we need to go positive, we need to go negative, but we are narrowed down from these angles to these angles. And if I'm pointing and my head is the downwind, so Philippe will go like this, and Herman will go with the small turns. At the end, I have to say that both of them end up in the same position on the downwind. Depends on the downwind, depends on the strength, depends on the shift, depends on the, yeah. So when we have the technique that we like, we get there. And the straight liners are suffering a lot when there is light wind and choppy. When we cannot catch the waves, then the sterns help a lot to catch the waves. As soon as we have the breeze that we can go a little bit faster than the waves, a straight line putting the bow on the wave it's a magnific tool, a magnific technique to have. But the whole of this straight line is light wind with chop, where the waves are faster than me. I need to create something, because with the legs on the leeward side and just sitting down is very difficult to create anything. As usually, no, when you put the leg at the back, I don't know if you can see, but when you put the leg at the other side of the strap, which is more a normal technique, this is, you are better attached to the boat. It's easier to move the boat and to make all these turns and transitions. In one or the other technique, what I'm looking the most is how, if the sail is full of wind all the time, so that we're not losing the flow. So when we do the turn, or we're going downwind on a straight line. It doesn't matter. Every turn that I do, I want to see the sail, at least 3/4 of the sail full all the time. The part closer to the mast, it can be sometimes because you are late or you're late, and then it can be with a little bit less pressure. But if we see the sails losing the flow, then we see that there is a problem there. And usually it's or that they're using too much rudder, too hard, and then they cannot pull the sheet. Yeah. Or that if they are doing the transition good, is that this is quite slow and short. And the key to have the flow on the sail on the downwind is to have a very active arms or active arms. But the sheet is so long at the back that we need to get it in as much as possible. So look at the sail, look at the flow on the sail, look at this, yeah. And one other important part is when we're doing the transition, we're going downwind, we catch a wave, we want to be positive. The boat, if this is the sail, the boat hills to leeward a little bit, and then when we start to get the other one, yeah, the windward heel is key to go down and to use little. Let's try to use little rudder as possible. And a good exercise is just to have a rope and attach the rudder. Not to take the rudder out. I'm not so fan of this. I'm fan of this on the light wind going upwind, for example, without rudder at all out. But on the downwind, in any conditions, if we just put a rope that allowed the tiller to move 5, depends on the level, maximum 10 centimeters, yeah? And they can hold the stick and they can pull, but there's a stopper. And then they need to use the body much more. Yeah? They will understand that they can do a lot of things with the sheet and the body, and they don't need the rudder. The rudder is a stopper. So one way to make the downwind faster is just trying to stop the rudder movements as much as possible in all conditions. Yeah. And kicker tension is the next key on the downwind. I will say as loose as possible, yeah, especially if we're going to do a lot of turns, but having the kicker as close as possible, because if we want to go positive, we need to make tension, we need to pull some tension on the kicker. If we want to, if the wind increases or decreases, we need to trim it. So to trim the control of the kicker is a key factor of the down. So they need to be used as well to do the turns or to go straight, but being able to, let's say an exercise can be, you need to trim the sail every gust on this downwind at least 3-5 times and see what happens. Because the feelings are on the boat are completely different, and just making them some marks, yeah. On this downwind, this mark is good, but now we're going to test with the next one. Number 2, number 1, whatever you want to have the marks on. And just that the sailors feels the differences, and then on the racing, they can have this feeling, oh, now I'm going slow. First thing, clack, I release or I pull. But it's quite automatic, yeah? And then less rudder movements and activity. And the activity means most of the times that the jury gets close to us, and that's a big danger. What after many years of discussions with the juries, if I can give you one conclusion, is that be careful with the positive movements. So if I'm going positive and I do this and this and this, they will whistle me. If I do this, they will not. Yeah. But if now I'm doing the same but I'm negative, they accept it more as this is a laser movement. So we have less in danger on the negative side than on the positive side with the juries. And I think that this is also a nice trick to say to the sailors before an event, and if you see the jury come, go negative. It will be easier, you know, because they will look at the positive, how the sail flicks, and then it's a big alarm for the juries, and this is what they are said. International juries are saying to the national juries: positive, be careful with the positive, and look at their turning and look if they are consistent with the turns. The consistency is another word that the juries are looking at. What that means, so subjective, it's difficult for me to understand, but this is something that they are looking for, consistency on the turns on the downwind. Yeah. What else? Because now you're mute, sorry.
Let's again try to get some of the other participants in here. All of you have experiences both on how to introduce the active downwind with your youngest sailors, how to have them move this or that angle on their turns, how to control the boat when you're going downwind, or to be really connected to the boat going downwind, which is a big step for a young sailor. So guys, come on.
Yeah, myself, I can be hours on details, but if we start on the details on any single possible wind of speed on the light wind, starboard with the waves from the front, with the waves from the side, with a flat water, if we put the waves on the current and if we turn, we go on port and the waves are not from the front, if not they are from the side now, we can get finished. I don't know when, but they can get also completely lost. So to me, that's why I wanted to reduce a bit more into my explanation in general, and then going for answering questions, because I'm pretty sure that you all had some situations where your sailor were slower than others, and maybe we can understand why. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was talking about something was too not easy or too easy. I don't know, but yeah. What one question in general? Which moment your sailors you believe they can improve the most? Is in the light wind? Is in the middle? Is in the heavy wind? And then we can go for some tips on that. We'll be Frank again. Oh, Joseph, yeah.
Nils Petter.
Hello, Nils.
Få på mikrofonen, Nils Petter.
Sorry. I'm a master sailor and occasionally do coach young sailors. For the moment, most of them are in the Optimist, but I do some ILCA sailing myself. So I have a direct question for you, Anton. At the very light breeze, and I'm been thought that you should have heel your boat to leeward and body weight approximately close to the centerboard. Do you have any idea there if you should keep your boat flat or maybe a little bit positive, e.g. not to the leeward but up?
We've been doing a lot of tests now in Marseille about that. There is a margin between 3 different techniques that we're using now. Very light means 4 knots to 6 knots. We are heeling the boat, making the pump, keeping it flat. And when the boat is going to stop or coming to wingboard, we try to heel and doing again that with the difficulty of not breaking the rule 42. So not too many moments. But it's true that every time that you stand up, you put the feet on the leeward side, you try to heel the ass a little bit, then the boat heels. And this is connected with a little bit of releasing main sheet and pumping in. And you can pump more or less to control the heel. The boat accelerates a lot. As soon as we have 6 knots, we have some chop, or 6 knots or some chop, that you can go a little bit, instead of releasing the main sheet like this, that you need to go not block to block, but let's say 20 centimeters more or less, and you play on this hill and flat, it doesn't work anymore. We need to go for a little hill, and then it's all about my arching with the ass and being well controlled with the rudder. So then I'm changing from the hill main sheet to accelerate the boat, to get a little bit of movement with the rudder, getting something with this and playing with the main sheet here. And in this moment, I'm having a little bit of heel flat, Well, before I was maybe 25, 30 degrees heel. Now I'm going for this 10, 15 degrees heel, that I can adjust with the sheet in and out a little bit and helping the boat with this. Yeah. As soon as I can go block to block, or as soon as I can put my shoulders out, which this may mean that I need to move my ass in to get my shoulders out, because the worst thing is to have the shoulders in and the ass out. This, I will say, don't do it. Try to put the ass as far in as possible to have the shoulders out. In this is the third technique, block to block. Then I would really like to have the boat as flat as possible. And this is maybe 8 knots. So we are working from 4-6 to 6-8 and then 8+. So personal, we have on this very light wind. Do you want me to go a little more deep on the movements, or? Because I think it's the concept the most important. And the concept is very light wind, I'm heeling, I'm opening the main sheet, I'm making this until the boat is flat, never to windward, never to windward, flat and go. Then increase a little bit, pull the sheet, but it's not block to block yet. It can be block to block in one moment, but it's this movement with the sheet, and then it's this 10, 15 degrees, small movements that I can help with my core, and I can help with my rudder. Then I start to be a little more active with the rudder. As soon as I'm flat, I can be with the shoulders out. I want to be flat. I want to be normally block to block. And it's very because then usually you have stability here. And this is a very difficult technique to have the boat as flat as possible. But I believe it, if we look at all the scientific studies there, is how it's the best possible for the boat to go, flat boat. And this works especially when we are block to block, so around 8 knots. Depends on the weight of our sailors, but it's around this more or less.
Takk, Nils Petter. Det var bra. Er det andre spørsmål? Slipp dere løs nå.
I can continue with the other extreme, as windy as possible. And if we are in 20 plus knots, what is a key factor is not, so it's not how much I hike, because I cannot hike all the race as much as needed. But the most important part is how active and fast I am with the main sheet. So the main sheet activity is what I'm looking for to get the boat as stable as possible all the time. Not only my shoulders, my upper body, my physical effort, but especially the main sheet to control the balance on the boat. That's on the extreme. Yeah, be careful saying that to the young, because to me sometimes when I said that in the past, they said, "Okay, I'm gonna play with the main sheet. I'm not gonna hike." Yeah, and that's not what it needs to be. Yeah, yeah. So we don't need to end up just releasing main sheet and having the boat flat. Yeah, and if not, we need to have as much effort as possible, but keeping the boat faster thanks to the main sheet work, and the main sheet work is really fast. And when they are trying this, a lot of kicker is needed, because then it's less pressure on the sheet. And so if we want to make it easier for them to practice that, it's a tight strap, more tight than usual, more kicker than usual. Yeah, and then they play with the sheet to get the balance. And then we need to release the kicker, and we may need to then release a bit of strap. Yeah. But to start with, it's less tension on the main sheet as possible, because then they will realize, oh, this is going well. I can control and I can release, and then the boat goes flat. So try to get the boat as stable as possible thanks to the sheet, and then we can make it a bit harder releasing the kicker for them. Yeah, and if we release the kicker, it will be too hard. So we need to release the strap most probably to make the balance that they can hike and have the upper body as out as possible. So that will also stream on the upwind.
Let me ask you guys working with club sailors. What do you do to have the young sailors to understand the triangle between straps and body weight and sheet and kicker? In what sequence do you work? August or Erik or whoever? Come on, Anders.
It's a really good question.
Jeg hadde litt uklar forbindelse her nå, så jeg fikk ikke med meg hele spørsmålet. Om du kan gjenta.
When you work on speed upwind and balance of the boat, you want there's always a triangle between strap, kicker, or strap, sheet, and then kicker.
Yeah, and how we work with it.
Yeah.
I mostly focus on the my sailors are mostly on the main sheet, and the kicker. I have been working so much with the strap, but it's been some years since I've been working with some really active sailors, so I would say mostly on the main sheet, and in combination with the kicker, depends on the wind strength. In medium light winds, you might have main sheet tight and just adjust the kicker in the gusts. So it depends on the strength, really, for me.
Very good. Yeah, I would say on the light wind, how the body and how you heal and control it with the main sheet is more important than the kicker. But as soon as we have block to block, we are very active with the kicker as a control. And pressure comes, we tighten it a little bit. Pressure goes, we release it. Deeper, you want to have the sail, less kicker. Flatter, you want to have more kicker. In the beginning, when you pull just a little bit, it will help to get the sail a little deeper. But if you pull it 1 centimeter extra, it will be flattened down the sail. So yeah, we are really, really active with this control. I want the guys to have possibilities to just move it and not even extending the arm. So the kicker needs to be close to them. And more wind, more kicker, extreme wind, more than 25 knots, less kicker again.
Jon Øyvind?
I really like video because I'm sorry my voice is a bit not too good, but I really like video because then you get the block angles for the kicker adjustment, and you get how much they work the sheet, and you can also see it's very visual how stable the boat is. So in Ran we have a lot of very little wind and a lot of, or it's either very little wind or a lot of wind. So I've been working quite a lot in more wind with the stability of the boat, and I find video to be a really good tool in that aspect.
Yeah, we are all there with the videos, and in this case for the straps, for the kicker, is where we have a sensor where it's connected to the sailman in this case, and the sailors can see and compare and tell in the water how much kicker you had. And it's not this much or that much, it's a number that is shown by the sensor. Before that, before Tokyo, we had all of us, so all the 5 sailors on the team, we had numbers on the kicker that all the kickers had the same identical numbers. So they were comparing how much tension they had when they had a run that one was faster than the other one, and which was the range that they were playing with the kicker up and downwind. So this communication between them on these details is has been really, really important. So if you can create just numbers in one of the in the kicker, and we can see from the video which number or which lane they are, and compare with the other sailors and see which is faster. And if then at the end they talk on the water and they share this information on the water, they all go up. So yeah, I would recommend to have more than on the boom that I've seen a lot. To me, the boom and the outhaul is key. In some conditions when it's choppy and I need to hike a little bit more or less. Apart from that, I think we can have it quite a standard, the outhaul, but not the kicker. I think the kicker is where we need to be focused to get a little bit on the fine trimming of the sail. And in most of the conditions, if we take the stream up and down, we are trimming a lot the kicker. Downwind and upwind, both, a lot. We are taking a lot of care of this, to the point, as I said, that we have a sensor that measures the tension on the kicker at this moment, visualizing from the sailors on their screen on the boat. So it's an immediate response all the time for that, at our level, yeah. But with some lates, with something just that all the kickers have the same measurements, I think it's very useful, and it will be a big advantage in the short term for all the team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jon Øyvind. Are there more questions, more comments? We're now close to August. Come in.
Yeah, just a little follow up on when we discussed the question of Nils Petter with the leaning of the boat. When I was sailing laser 10 years ago, I think, we discussed and trained a lot of something called super flat in light and medium winds. How much is this begrep? How much is this used today?
We're going more and more there.
More and more.
We see, yeah.
Yeah.
We see that the flatter the sailor can accept the boat, better it is. The problem is that you lose all the power on the rudder, so it's very, very extreme, very difficult to get it going all the time. And the problem with the flatter boat is because there is nothing. So when you heel the boat, you have some pressure on the rudder, you have some pressure on the ass that you can feel it, and you know when you want to lose it. And because the boat is going to be flat, you have some time to react. As soon as you have a flatter boat, there is much less pressure everywhere. So as soon as the boat comes to windward a little bit too much, or you feel it's the windward, and then you're going sideways. So it's a very critic. There is a degrees that is very critic, and Herman is the one that is using more the flattest boat at this moment, together with the Aussies and New Zealanders, and he's going really, really concentrate to very flat. And we have degrees that is, if he is flattening the boat and the boat comes to one point which is 3 degrees and passes these 3 degrees, he knows that this is fact. Sorry for the word. It's,
but it's you have this boat all neutral flat, but then you might have a slightly lean to leeward.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that in general we need to go for the flattest boat as possible, with the danger that if the sailors they go too flat, they will be lost. So it's a very marginal and critic way of sailing, but it's faster than the heeling. We may not see that on the youth or the younger, because they are more active and they move a lot the boat, and to be with the boat flat you need to be super static, shoulders out, and that's a lot of work on the core as well to keep this there. And it's all the reactions are like you are like a block moving from here to there, and usually when we see on the young guys is that nothing is connected, no? So that's why it's also really difficult for them to get into this. Boom, I lock my body and I'm going from here and I'm moving, only leave it like a concrete block, if I can express like this. While on the youth, that is still, they are not well coordinated, they are not as strong, it's more difficult to get there. And I believe that that's one of the reasons that they heel the boat, and they like to heel the boat, because then they can just move and get the boat going all the time. But more and more we want to improve. I believe that we need to go more and more to the flatter and one concrete block moving forward all the time.
Yes, thank you.
Guys, I would like to end this session with a question to all of you, before I will then thank Anton. I feel that Anton started with something that was really important to share. Share. Not only between sailors, but between coaches. So we can keep on with these seminars, as we will every winter. We can do it in a way we did last time, where we had a wonderful presentation with comments from Line and Herman. And some nice videos and really insightful comments from Anton. Or we could say that, okay, every coach bring one question to the seminar. Everybody, all of you, bring one experience or session you want to share. And that, in my opinion, would probably be much more fruitful, much more give much more learning to all of us than just a beautiful presentation which we could sit back in our chair and look and listen to from Anton. Of course, we would all like to sit at Anton's feet and learn whatever he knows, but he has learned from experience. So if we can all bring our experience in. We from Norwegian Sailing Federation, we would really love to work as good as possible for with all our coaches, and we have a lot of really good laser coaches, club coaches in Norway, and I would really like to have your comments. So, guys, can you please send me, on basis of tonight, you send me a small email saying how can we organize these post-educational seminars to make them as good as possible. We are 32 at the moment, so I would like to have 30 mails tomorrow or the day after with a suggestion. How can we make these seminars even better? And then, Anton, you have, in a way, become more Norwegian than most Norwegians. You have, with all your experience, with all your detailed knowledge, with all your possibilities of really picking at the sailors, you've adapted to a philosophy that we know and that we enjoy. And I really like working with you. It's so nice. And you have this fingerspitzgefühl, not only for the technique, but for the wholeness. Thank you very much, Anton.
Thanks to you, Jens, for this nice words. Yeah, and yeah, would like to make it a little more detailed next time. But I agree with Jens that like this is a little bit difficult and it can take a lot of time, and I can go for places or topics that are not interesting for you. So yeah, I will be really open and happy to answer any question and go in any subject. And discuss them in detail, whatever is needed to discuss. So yeah, we'll be really happy and proud to get back here again.
You will surely be forced to.
You are not forcing me yet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. And we really look forward to see all of you during the season in Norway. Thank you and good night.